Welcome to the new order. Yes? 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 Oh, come on! Yes! Damn! All right, how's it going? Sorry for the quality. The first thing I have to say is I really apologize for the quality of the video. The quality of the video is terrible because all I have is this yellow ass light and it's dark, and I normally use the real light, the real lighting to do video. Also, I'm holding the camera for once. I thought I'd do a non-static video this time. Oh, I can use these effects. I mean, obviously I'm using a GoPro, so I don't get much focus. So there's really no point in me zooming in and zooming out. I cannot zoom in and I cannot zoom out. That's the issue. Today I wanted to talk about entropy. I just watched the video and it triggered me, and I was like, I've got to get my thoughts out about this because it's bothering me. The video that came out, it was a SciShow video. It was like the 4 new mysteries. It literally just came out actually like a few hours ago, and I was like, oh, I'll start watching it, you know, because like and the guy who was like, oh, you know, talking about dark matter and dark energy. It's like, but there's also new mysteries, other mysteries that we don't know about. And I was like, okay, well, I'll check those mysteries out. Let's see if I can't, you know, like get the old noggin started and you know, just think about it. And the first thing he says is like, physics tells us that there is no real difference between the past and the future. So why do we remember the past but not the future? Suddenly I started like, the muttering to myself, like, but why do you understand it? It's so complicated to understand. Like, kind of, because I am French, so I've got yeah. And so I thought I'd explain what I think about entropy, right? Okay. And so for this occasion, I've put on my special smart glasses. I actually need glasses to see, so I went to see a movie tonight, and it was okay. It was okay. But I could see it well thanks to these smart intellectual glasses. Entropy is the understanding, as far as I understand it, began as the understanding that there seemed to be a direction that things went into. And seeing as physics is described as a set of equations, there was no real reason in physics, in these equations, to describe the world as having a specific direction. And so the concept of entropy was born, from what I understand, okay? More recently with quantum mechanics, and because there's a lot of probabilities involved in quantum mechanics, and everybody loves the probabilities. Everybody loves the probabilities in quantum mechanics, and I'm not a big fan of those probabilities, okay? So, I think we can do better, but I'm a very beginner physicist. I'm not really even a physicist at all. I'm like a high school physicist. I'm a high school level, but I have a bunch of experience, and I have a professional philosophical thought, but high school level physics. So sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. I feel kind of embarrassed, but what you gonna do? I have thoughts. I want to put them out there at least. You know, let's just put them out there. And in quantum mechanics, apparently, entropy is described as the most likely thing to occur based on all possible realities that could occur. I'm not a big fan of that either, because it's basically like saying, well, the world should be nothingness, because nothingness and randomness and you know, the 90s TV static, black and white, should be the norm. So this is what we should see everywhere in the universe. However, this is not what we see. So what we do see is we see planets, and we see order, and we see a set of rules that have built. I think the rules have built themselves, but we can talk about that maybe in another video. I don't know about that. I just wanted to stay focused on entropy today, and the order and the disorder, and the past and the future, right? And I wanted to talk about direction, right? Because This is, to me, this is misunderstanding the idea of a direction. The fact, first of all, that you have a past and that you remember it and that you have an idea of there should be a future and you do not remember the future is simply the idea of movement. Movement must have a past. You must come from to go. And you must be something to be able to do anything at all. In my view, if we rewind just a little bit, you are a thing that is, I think I talked about it last video. You are a thing that is made out of other things. And those things move to make you. And then therefore you are a you. You are now an identity. You are a physical thing made by those moving things. Right, we all know that the body regenerates itself every. I don't know if it's a myth or at all, because this is where like my understanding is very vague about this stuff. But I know that the body regenerates every 7 years. This is or something like that. It's supposed to lose all its cells and have them replaced, which means that you are not a static thing. You are a moving thing. You are a movement, and therefore then you have the ability to move all of this moving stuff. You have the ability to move as well. And so the past is simply the natural occurrence of a thing trying to learn how to move better. If you don't know how to move better, you will always ram into the same things. Like most particles probably do. Like the particles, because they don't have a sense of how to move better every time, they just ram into shit, and if they happen to get undone, well, they get undone, and that's too bad. But we are a specific new type of movement, at least on this plane of existence. So I don't really like saying plane of existence, but I suspect because we are made of movement, and those moving things are made by moving things, and those moving things are made by moving things, and those moving things are made by moving things, etc., etc., that there should be at some point on those tiny moving things, there should be the equivalent of a planet. There should be a ball on which minute things will occur as well, because they're made of moving things. And when there's stability in those systems, those minute things will be the equivalent of a species or of an ecosystem that lives on the surface of those balls. This is pure speculation, but it's just the logical continuation of an idea. The idea that things are made out of things, and that you can't just come to the conclusion at some point that it just becomes point-like entities that come from nowhere. And I've explained how nothing is not a thing. You can't have... What does nothing mean? There can only be things. Nothing must be nothing to the universe, but not nothing to itself. So it must be something. And it probably is a little thing that makes up a bigger thing. That makes up a bigger thing, that makes up us at some point. At some point it becomes... And so this is another way of saying that it is very likely that the universe just keeps going, and that the inconsistencies that we have in physics are due to the fact that we haven't realized this yet, and that we haven't exactly realized how it's possible as well. And I have a few ideas on that, but as I said, I'd rather stay focused on the movement thing, on the why we remember the past and not the future. And so we have learned to move better. Now I can move, but I can go, oh, I should move this way, and then I have legs to move this way, and I can decide to move. Obviously, I can't move anywhere I want, because if I wanted to go up, there seems to be something pulling me down. The current theory is that the curvature of space-time that's accelerating me downwards, basically, if I understood this correctly. I've watched a lot of vulgarization videos, so eventually it kind of seeps in. But I probably said something wrong as well, so I don't know. But entropy, to come back to entropy, there doesn't seem to actually be a need for entropy. And this is what I don't understand in all the physics videos that I keep watching. Why is there entropy at all? You're surprised that there's movement. The movement moves in a direction. Say I take an egg. I take an egg, I break the egg. right? And it doesn't spontaneously go back together. Well, of course not, because it's an egg and it is made to be a specific shape. And I have broken the egg physically. But what I have not done is, and this is what everyone says, well, it doesn't reverse spontaneously, but I've also not really undone the egg. Because to undo the egg would be to undo the process of creation of the egg, which is to undo the genetic line of the chicken. So I haven't undone any of that. The world is has still progressed. All I've done is physically act on the egg. I've physically imposed my direction on the direction of the egg, which would have remained unbroken had I not broken it. So there is no entropy here. It's not about entropy. And I remember I talked on my blog again about some kind of swing. Physicists must be mystified by the swing, because the swing goes backwards and forwards and it seems to have no entropy at all. What is this insane contraption? Of course, we know that the swing moves back and forward because of gravity pulling it, and because we've designed it to be symmetrical. We've designed the swing within the environment of a gravitational field, pulling an object downward constantly, and then we impart some forward motion that turns into backward motion because of our design. This is how the swing works. So it's only design. So it's only you who's convinced yourself to come back to the egg. It's only you who's convinced yourself that there's a need for order and disorder. There's no such thing as the order and disorder. Everything is already order. It's just that we choose to impart our direction upon something. But more profoundly, the idea of entropy, to me, is something to do with stability. I believe that what physicists are after is, I think that they understand this movement. I think most physicists understand that there's a notion to do with movement, and that but there's still this question: why are we still moving in this? Why are we moving in this direction then? Kieran, it's movement. Okay, I get it. I understand you. But why are we moving in this direction? And I think it's the direction of stability, of existence. We were talking about the universe, and some people say, why does the universe exist instead of nothing? Why is there something rather than nothing? Well, the reason why that is because it must exist. I remember watching a short video on it. I can't remember the name of the man, but he was talking about something called the all possible rules. I can't remember the Ruliad? Yeah, something like that, the Ruliad. There's something about all possible rules existing, and this monster of all possible rules existing must exist. And it's, yeah, that's one way to see it, but I don't think it's about all possibilities again. This is another thing with the possibilities and the probabilities, and I don't like this. What do we have here? What do we have now? What can we see? What are we observing, right? Sorry, I'm getting carried away. I'm picking a side. I'm picking a side, guys. What is, to me, happening is there are certain actions that seem to be inevitable and that arise from movement itself. So apparently I am talking about it in this video. So say something goes in a straight line, right? And you have some form of sphere, right? That has been formed previously by a lot of things being attracted together, right? And that this thing is emitting straight lines. Say we say that. So all you have is small things being attracted together, creating a sphere, which is the natural shape to occur when a random selection of objects are randomly placed in an environment and are attracted to one another. And then they start emitting things that, say, can attract, right? Let's say that. Anything that's moving in this vicinity will start to create a circle, will be attracted, and will create angular momentum, right? That angular momentum then becomes an orbit. And then these can have new effects and build. I suspect that a lot of our small world is made up of what I call circles and straight lines. Just things moving, and the way that they move compared to each other and geometrically assemble is going to create the larger things in existence. And we just haven't figured out exactly how that happens. However, remember, for small, very precise changes to occur, such as a species evolving on a planet, you need a fair amount of stability. We can't have any asteroids come in and disturb this very subtle process. We need it extremely stable. And so we find ourselves in a universe where the Earth is very far away from anything else that could possibly disturb it. And so we look at the world and we see, well, we have these small islands of entropy that exist, of high entropy or low entropy. I can't remember because it makes no sense. It's not a very intuitive notion. We have small islands of order that exist within oceans of disorder where heat disperses. But you don't understand that the reason why the world is currently this way is because it needs to be this way in order to not destroy itself. And the stability, the survival, the fact that there is a universe at all is because stability is absolutely necessary in order to build the next stage. And in this case, we are part of the next stage on the small scale, but there is also a next stage in the galactic scale. There is more detail that can appear on the small scale, and there's also more formations that can appear on the large scale of things, on the even larger than the large. This stability to me is absolutely necessary. Entropy is therefore, most likely, stability. And that's the direction you're looking for. So what I would advise any physicist who is watching for some reason, because I don't have many subscribers right now, let's be honest. What I would advise any of you who are watching to do with any equations, if you wanted to make that come to life in mathematics, is to find a way to explain a layer of reality based on the stability of a previous layer. And if you do that and you show that there is a correlation, in fact, a causation, it should be a causation, really, but at the very least, a correlation to start with. If you show that there's a correlation between this stable environment and more of the universe appearing, basically more complexity arising from the stability in any circumstance, that should be a proof that entropy is the stability itself. My name is Kieran McCam. I hope you liked this video. I wanted to do this video for a long time. It was getting on my nerves and I'm still a little bit like, ooh, about it. I'm normally much cooler and calmer, and I go, "What do you think?" But today, I just want to be a little natural, I suppose. Just put it out there, put the idea out there. I do actually want to know what you think if you're watching this video, and take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Damn!